Oh my gosh. Look at that. Oh my gosh, look at it. Ah! Ah! Go watch it. Oh, we're in the end game now. Oh, why did I just say that? Oh no. All right. Hello everyone. It is your boy Starkler 76 coming at you with another video. And for today's video, we are going to talk about the Avengers Endgame movie. Lots of fun! So, I just saw the movie yesterday, and I was going to do a review of it. I'd say pretty recent. But I just got so tired at night that I just cannot do it, so I'm gonna do it today. And as soon as this video is done, I'm gonna upload it probably as soon as possible. So, um, I got a big list of stuff I'm gonna talk about. There's gonna be an arrow that points at each part of the video, so if you just want to skim through it, you'll know what part I'm talking about. So if you don't want to hear something, that's fine. And for those who are like, "Oh, where's the gameplay? What are you doing?" I am getting gameplay. I've just been really busy. It's the final week of college. Regardless, I wanted to talk about this movie because I thought it was very interesting. And that's the fun of YouTube, is getting to do and upload whatever you want. So if I want to review this movie, then you know what? You damn right better think I'm going to review this movie. So we're going to review, I'm going to try to, as best as I can, the Avengers Endgame movie. Alright, so let's get started. The script and the story. So the storyline is very, very simple. The decimation happened in Infinity War. The movie takes, literally, the movie starts like during the snap. That's literally when it starts. So it literally starts like moments. I wouldn't even say after Infinity War, but like at the very end of it, all the way over with Hawkeye's family, which is what I'm gonna move on to already. But um, so yeah, the storyline is that it takes place right after Infinity War, or like right during the beginning of it, and then their goal is to try to undo the decimation. That's the whole premise of it. That's the whole storyline. That's pretty much it for that. So, Hawkeye's family. The movie starts with Hawkeye and his family. I thought it was gonna start with Tony and Nebula, but that came next. So you got Hawkeye sitting there with his family. I thought it was nice. He was just hanging out with his fam. He was enjoying himself, playing. They weren't playing catch. They were like toying around with some arrow or something, just having fun. They were having fun, and then all of a sudden Hawkeye just looks off to the side and he's like, "Oh, oh." And I barely saw it myself. I saw his family just completely just fades to dust. All of them. I mean, not even like a single kid or the wife. His entire family on the field just decimates to nothing. And I was just like, oh my gosh, he lost all of it. And you could barely see it happen too. You're just like, what? What was that? And what's so funny about that is that someone left a comment. I don't know if you guys know the channel called Aldo Jones. He leaves really funny, he makes really funny trailers. He remakes them and does these edits. Someone left a comment. I'm going to see if I could find it. I don't know if I can or not. Where literally he was requesting ideas for the second trailer, and someone says, before Hawkeye's daughter high fives him, let her get turned to dust. And then, like, moments after that, that actually happened in the movie. It was like a huge coincidence. It was very close, but it was, I mean, it was very close. So, I mean, that was really funny. So, all right. Moving next is Tony and Nebula. So after Hawkeye has his little panic attack and he doesn't know what's happening, it goes straight to Tony and Nebula sitting in the ship. And Tony and Nebula are playing with a, what is it, like a paper football? And they were just having fun. And, Tony gives off his message. They're running out of time. They're running out of resources. There's nothing they can do. And, Tony even offered Nebula some of the food, but Nebula just shook her head no. Like, no, you take it because I'm just a robot. I'm nothing special, okay? You take the food, all right? Okay? So that was kind of nice. I like that scene. It was pretty good. And of course, there are spoilers in here, so I mean, it says it in the title. I never mentioned it here because it says it right in the title. So, spoilers. But moving on, we go to the Avengers at the Avengers base, which then leads to Thanos farming. So, basically, Captain Marvel. I mean, I don't. Am I really gonna explain everything, or am I just gonna explain the parts I like? I mean, that's. I'm not gonna go through the entire thing. I think it's a really good movie. Um, so yeah, the Avengers team up with Captain Marvel, and they go and they visit Thanos, and they find Thanos. And it was a really nice scene they had where Thanos was just sitting there farming. I thought that was a really nice scene that they did there. Um, he was walking through the field and then he picks up like some I don't even know what it is. It's like some berry looking thing and he puts it in a basket or a bucket. Oh no, it was a bag. He put it in a bag and then he carried it over to his house and he was wearing just like a plain gray t-shirt, which is like a shirt that I would probably wear, so I kind of like that. He was just sitting there, he's all happy, he's farming, and then he puts like these cubes of like I think it's like I don't know if it's like the same plant or not. I thought it was salt at first. He puts it into this little bucket and then he sets it down on the ground in his little fire pit and he's cooking some soup. And then he has these horrible scars covering the side of his body. And I was like, oh, why is he so scarred? And it was because he used the stones again when the Avengers saw that at the Avengers base. And he looks up, and Captain Marvel just flies right in, and so does the Hulkbuster after it got repaired. And so does War Machine, and they got them all hooked up and restrained. Of course, I can't show this because I don't want the video to get taken down for copyright. But they just completely just kill him like right then and there. Like Thanos is like, yo, I used the stones to get rid of the stones, and then Thor just cuts off his head, and he also cuts off his hand too. And it's like, where's the stones, where's the stones? He's like, I used the stones to get rid of the stones. Like, he said something about they had their use and all that's left is like, if he kept them, the only thing that would be left is temptation. So he was completely defenseless in his house. And again, I'm going to post another comment where in a video, someone, of course, leaked a video of Thanos sitting on the farm. And someone left a comment saying, I'm going to be honest, I still feel sick to my stomach after that scene. I just think his death was gruesome and painful. Just the fact that we saw him happy farming and cooking only to die a painful death really shook me. And the dude below even responded to him with support. So that was very interesting. So basically that's that. Thanos dies like right away at the beginning of the movie, which was kind of shocking. And Thor's like, "Oh, I went for the head." It's like, yeah, well, you still could have talked to him for maybe a little bit longer, I guess. Okay, whatever. Okay, let's move on to Ant-Man's escape. So basically after that, they're like, oh no, what do we do? And then it slowly on the screen says, 5 years later. Or just like, I'm just sitting there like, 5 years? Are you kidding me? 5 years? Like, no, we can't wait 5 years. And the way Ant-Man escapes the quantum realm is that van with the tiny quantum realm machine is sitting in a warehouse, and this rat just crawls on the machine and frees Ant-Man. And is just like, oh, cool, like, Ant-Man's free, he's back. And it turns out that even though Ant-Man was in the quantum realm for 5 years, it was only 5 hours for him. So, like, he just comes out of it like, oh, what happened? Okay. And he comes back and he's like, why is this world so post-apocalyptic? And he goes to this, like, cemetery where he sees all these like big gravestones with all these names carved in them. And I thought what was it called? The Vanished. And he looks at them and he sees what's his name? What 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 are both of those two names? I can't really even remember the names. You got Hank, and then you got whoever played the Wasp, and both of their names were carved on the stones. And then Ant-Man sees his own name carved on it, and he's just in absolute shock, and it says Scott Lang. And you're just like, oh my gosh, why? Why did this happen? And he runs to the Avengers base, and then now we're going to move on to time travel. So that's the goal of the movie, is to they're basically traveling through time, which I mean, yeah, it's cool. I mean, I honestly thought the way the movie would play out would be maybe Thanos repaired his Infinity Gauntlet and everyone went after him instead, and that was the whole premise. But this took a very unique turn that I didn't think it would take. So yeah, that's pretty interesting that they chose to travel through time. And at one point in the time travel, I'm not going to say when, but there was a very, very brief Stan Lee cameo. I believe that's the last cameo of Stan Lee because he passed away. And even though he passed away after they finished the filming for Spider-Man Far From Home, we still don't know if he was truly in it or not because he was still pretty sick at the time. Mm. So yeah, time travel. I just want to say one more thing because, of course, we get to the electronic gauntlet. Is some of the Avengers go to the New York in 2012 to receive the Space Stone, Time Stone, and the Mind Stone all at once. And a lot of stuff goes down there. I don't know if I want to explain all of it because it's a really simple review of me explaining stuff. Because if you guys haven't seen it yet, and this commentary is making you want to see it, then I don't want to spoil everything. But yeah, basically that's what they do. They go to New York 2012 to get the Space Stone, Time Stone, and the Mind Stone. They get all three of them at once, and then Thor and Rocket Raccoon specifically, I remember those two very specifically, go to, I think it was Thor the Dark World in 2014, which I know that movie wasn't really all that much fun, so that's actually when I chose to get up and go use the bathroom. So, yeah, if you guys are going to watch this movie or haven't seen it yet, I would say that's probably the best spot to go to the bathroom because it's like almost an hour, maybe I don't know, maybe like 30-40 minutes in, and it's just really not all that interesting. Like all they do is just walk up to like Thor's old girlfriend and like just like suck the reality stone like right out of her, and that's it. But you don't even see it happen. Like Rocket says like, oh, I went and I did it, while Thor just hung out with like other people. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. And then also last for the time travel is Hawkeye, Black Widow, and what's his name, War Machine, and Nebula all went back to, I think it was, oh geez, I think it was also 2014 as well, to get the Soul Stone and the Power Stone. And they get the Power Stone no problem. Like they just knock out Quill and then they just get the Power Stone. And then for the Soul Stone, to sum it up really short, they didn't know that they had to sacrifice a soul for it, and Hawkeye and Black Widow both kind of just fight back and forth, like, oh, who's gonna kill themselves? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And then there you go. Freaking Black Widow jumps off and dies, and then Hawkeye gets the Soul Stone, which is pretty interesting. Hawkeye gets the Soul Stone. But yeah, the last thing I have to say about the time travel is, it took up an interesting chunk of the movie. There's a lot to say about the time travel stuff. There's a lot, because that's what takes place during the entire movie is the time travel. And I'm just gonna say that in between all this, there were two nebulas at the time. The two nebulas ended up clipping into each other's like digital memories, and they got connected. And Thanos ended up accessing the 2014 Nebula's video of War Machine sitting there saying like, okay, are we just gonna sit here and get the Power Stone or what? And Thanos was like, what? The Power Stone? And then it showed like some members of the Black Order talking. It was very interesting. Um, just very, very interesting. Thanos found out about it, and then Thanos got access to, like, gosh, there is so much to explain. Thanos gets access to time travel. He just gets access to it. He ends up finding the nebula that went through time, and he uses her time stuff to get to the present time, if that even makes sense. It's complicated. I mean, it's complicated. I'm assuming that those who watched it have already seen the movie, so I hopefully you can side with me. Um, so yeah, time travel. That's the big thing in the movie. So moving on to the electronic gauntlet and the Hulk. So basically, they want to undo the snap. Their goal is to undo the snap with the Infinity Stones and then go back in time and then put the stones back so everything plays out like normal. So I guess that makes sense, but their idea of time travel is just kind of messed up. Like, instead of it being like, oh, whatever you do in the past affects your future, it's kind of like, oh, you created some random parallel universe that branches off differently. And it doesn't really make much sense. But yeah, back to the electronic gauntlet. So Hulk puts on the electronic gauntlet because he's obviously the strongest one there, and it like surges through his body. He gets like horribly, his arm gets like horribly, horribly withered because he's putting on all six at once, which I don't understand. Why did he put on all six of the Infinity Stones at once? Why couldn't you just do one at a time like Thanos did? And I understand that Thanos ended up like slowly collecting them over time, but what I don't understand is, like, why did you have to do all six at once? Why couldn't you put on one and then the other and then the other and then the other? Because that would have probably made it so much easier. Because I mean, that would have made sense. He just put on all six at once. Why put on all six at once? But you know, he ends up getting enough strength to do it. So even before it's done surging through his body, he just snaps his fingers and then he just passes out, and his arm is like put in a cast. So like at the end of the movie, it's put in a cast. Um, so yeah, the snap worked. They went back in time, got the stones, went forward in time, undid the snap. So that's cool. And then of course Thanos escapes through the quantum realm. And it's the 2014 Thanos, so he's just sitting there like, yo, what's up? I'm 2014 Thanos going to the future. I'm gonna destroy the Avengers base, even though, like, how did he even know that, like, that was relevant to, like, I mean, I guess he saw the Avengers base in the Nebula recording, but I don't know. It's complicated. I think it's just me being stupid. So you know what? I just gotta stay calm. So yeah, he just completely obliterates the Avengers base. The Avengers base is gone. He blows it up with his ship. He doesn't just go through by himself. He goes through with his huge, huge ship and just blows it all up completely. And then it leads to the final showdown between Cap, Thor, and Iron Man. And they just really go at each other the whole time. They're just punching and kicking and shooting all these beams. And Iron Man is like, yo, electrocute me. And he electrocutes him. And then Thor electrocutes him. And he just like shoots this huge beam out of his suit at Thanos, which is really cool. I think that was a reference back to the 2012 movie scene where Thor electrocutes Iron Man, and he electrocutes Tony, and then the power was at like 400%. That was perfect. And yeah, there's so much that happens in the showdown too, and of course the snap gets undone. So out of nowhere, Cap turns around and he's just like, oh my gosh, there's a portal coming. I mean, is this a good movie review? I'm reflecting on this right now. Am I doing a good job? I hope I am. Okay. Because I don't think I'm going to review another movie ever again, so this is my one shot at this. So Cap turns around, and a Doctor Strange portal opens up, and then the Black Panther, and I think his sister and some other person, I don't know who, but they all show up. and the decimation was undone. And then all these other portals show up, and like everyone from Titan that passed on, faded to dust, like Spider-Man, Quill, Doctor Strange, Mantis, and Drax. They all came out of the portal, and they're like, "Yo, what's up?" And then like, oh my gosh, oh wow, it's really getting a lot more epic when I'm thinking about it. Like literally everyone from the past movies, all these crowds, like Wong comes out with all of his guys, and then what's their name? Like one of Thor's buddies, I can't remember her name, like comes out on this Pegasus, and so do all these other like alien creatures and like Asgardians and stuff. And it's literally like every single character from like every crowd in every movie all just comes in to fight back. Everyone just all comes back through the portal. And then I forgot to mention earlier that Cap manages to pick up Thor's tiny baby hammer that he took with him from Thor the Dark World. He steals the younger Thor's hammer and takes it with him. And then Cap just picks it up like, yeah, I knew it. Thor was like, I knew it. I knew he was the chosen one. And that was just great. And then Cap just goes, Avengers, assemble. And then like just the huge battle goes down. You got everyone charging at each other. And Thanos is just sitting there like a coward. Like, oh, like who are these people? And I feel like I have to comment on that. Like, well, actually, I'll comment on it in a second. Okay, so we're gonna skip ahead to I Am Iron Man, which is when Tony snaps his fingers and the whole gauntlet and stuff. So, you know, it was really emotional seeing that. Thanos is like, he gets access. He somehow finally gets access um, to the electronic gauntlet. He puts it on and it starts electrocuting him. Captain Marvel comes in and she starts attacking him like boom, boom, boom. And then Thanos does something really smart. He rips off the Power Stone, puts it in his hand, and he just punches her as hard as he can. And she just goes flying across the ground. And then he puts the other stone into his gauntlet, and he gets closer and closer to snapping his fingers and wiping out half the population again. Which, again, I don't understand. Like, how would he know that they undid the decimation? Like, he's in the future. Wouldn't he just be like, oh, okay, cool? Like, it doesn't really make much sense why the 2014 Thanos decided to go to the 2000. I think it was like 2024, 2025 time. Like, wouldn't you want to stay in your timeline so you could accomplish what happened? Instead, he just pays a visit like, yay, I'm here, it's my time. And, you know, Tony, oh my gosh. Doctor Strange looks at Tony and he's like, Tony, and he points up his one finger, meaning there's only a 1 in 14,605 chance that this is going to work out. And it does. Tony's like, okay, I have to do it. All right. I have to do this. And he walks up to Thanos, grabs onto his gauntlet, and he manages to rip the Infinity Stones out of the gauntlet by surprise. And Thanos says, I am inevitable. And then he snaps his fingers, and then nothing happens. And he turns and he looks at his gauntlet, and there's no stones in it at all. And then Tony's Infinity Stones like roll up his hand, and they all snap into place. And then Tony says, and I am Iron Man. Snap. Even though Thanos, the 2014 Thanos, has no idea who Tony is, all he knows is that some guy. That's before Thanos even had the Soul Stone, so he actually doesn't know who Tony is at all. He just knows that some guy stopped him in New York, and that's it. And, you know, as emotional as it's supposed to be, I felt like there just wasn't a whole lot attached to it, because when Thanos was fighting Wanda earlier, Scarlet Witch, you know, Scarlet Witch said like, oh, you took everything from me. And Thanos is like, I don't even know you. And it was funny hearing that, but at the same time, it's so true. Like, this Thanos from 2014 has no idea what he's up against. All he sees it is just a crowd of people walking into to attack, he doesn't recognize them as a force that he once dealt with in Infinity War. It's just, oh, oh, like, bunch of people. Okay then. Okay then. Like, yeah. Like, oh, I bet when the decimation happened, he was probably like, oh, who's Iron Man? I've never heard of Iron Man. I felt like that just really took away from it. You know, it was supposed to be super emotional, and I felt like it was just kind of detached because of that. You know, he was just like, what the heck is going on? I just teleported to the future, and then the second decimation occurs, where not only does all of Thanos' minions, including himself, perish to dust, but also like the spaceships do too, which ended up getting destroyed by Captain Marvel. Like even the spaceships faded to dust, so it's like nothing, like they were never ever there. And 2014 Thanos is just gone. Like, okay, like he's dead. You killed the 2014 Thanos, and he also killed the retired farmer Thanos as well. Everyone, including the Black Order, died, so that's pretty much it. There honestly is a lot to talk about in this movie because it was 3 hours long, but I decided to just keep it as simple as I could. Um, so moving on to the end credits. Wow, this review is going on for 26 minutes now. Starting now. Uh, so you know, it goes to the end credits. Tony ends up dying from the snap, as we all know it, and Cap goes back in time to stay with his girlfriend, and they're finally dancing, and it's playing some really old music that I liked. I thought it was nice. I didn't cry, but there was no after credits scene, which was kind of a relief because it's a 3 hour movie. You don't want to hurt people for holding their bladder for too long. I mean, I had to pee at the end, but when the final battle happened, I was like, nope, I don't have to pee anymore. I'm gonna toughen it out. That's my final battle, is resisting the urge to pee. Yeah, that's my final battle, guys. Yeah. So yeah, credits roll, and then it starts showing like all the characters and all their main actors, and then the main Avengers theme starts playing when it shows up, like shows some of the core Avengers, and then it ends with Iron Man, and then at the very end it ends with the sound of Tony pounding the helmet in the cave, like ding, 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 ding. And I felt that was really nice, going all the way back to 2008 leading up to 2019 was all these movies. So for the most part, that's Avengers Endgame for you, and I thought it was a very interesting movie. The last things I wanted to say was, there's three things I gotta say. Number one, Vision. I don't know if Vision's ever gonna come back, because at the beginning of the movie, Thanos uses the stones to get rid of the stones. So I honestly don't know, like, where they could. I don't know. Vision is just gone. There's no Mind Stone or anything to bring him back. So Vision is just gone. So there goes one of my favorite Avengers of all time, Vision. He's just gone. Bye, Vision. And then also, this is something I just wanted to note of. There was a Lego Avengers Endgame set called the War Machine Buster, and we never saw that in the movie. It wasn't there. We saw War Machine, but we never saw the War Machine Buster. I'll try, if I can remember to put a picture of it on there, I will put it on there, but I don't ever recall there being a War Machine Buster. I mean, it's not there at all. And the last thing I gotta say, I don't know, I'm gonna try to end it on a positive note, but the last thing I wanted to say was, I was so disappointed when I saw the scene where Thor was playing Fortnite in the new Asgard, because there's two things I gotta say about that. Number one, it's Fortnite. Why couldn't you? I mean, even if you featured like Minecraft or something, I'd be happier. Second, it doesn't make sense, because Fortnite had the event in game that had to do with Thanos, and like it, I'm not gonna go through the trouble of looking at the timelines, but of like when the event came out and when Infinity War came out. You guys can look into that if you want, but like, why would Fortnite make an event based off of such a tragic? I mean, let alone working on video games still after half the population goes away. Why would you go through the trouble of making an event if anyone's even going to play video games anymore based off of something so horrible that happened? It breaks the fourth wall actually in a way. I don't know. It's Fortnite, and they decided to put Fortnite in there instead of any other game. You could have been playing Pac-Man or something, like something real simple. But to end it off on a positive note, this movie was borderline, like, I don't even know how to say it. It was truly, truly amazing. This was an amazing movie, and I wanted to make a video on it. Um, and yeah, that's my Avengers Endgame review. Me talking about the Avengers, and I spent 30 minutes doing this. I talked about the Avengers Endgame. Don't expect any other movie reviews on this channel because I don't plan on doing any. I don't think I'm ever gonna do any. Maybe I'll briefly talk about them, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about this, get another video out there for the time being. Um, it's been your boy Starkler, and I love y'all so much. We are getting so close to 300 subscribers. I want to get to 300 because that's when I'll do my Q&A video. I am very excited. If you haven't stopped by that yet, then you guys should. So go to my Q&A video. I'll try to, if I can remember to put the stuff in that I said I wanted to put in, I'll put it in. Okay, so I'll see you guys later. And this was my Avengers Endgame review.